Hello everyone. So, in our last class we had finished the second part of the chapter Lost Spring, which means that chapter is over. Today I am going to take you through another prose piece, which is again a very important prose piece from various perspectives, because many questions are asked from here. The name of the chapter is Indigo. If you are interested in history, if you want to know more about the freedom struggle of India and about Gandhi, then this is a very interesting chapter. This chapter has been written by Louis Fisher. Louis Fisher is a journalist. He came to meet Gandhi. Actually, he wrote a book. The name of the book is The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. And this story that you are reading is an excerpt, that is a part from that book, right? Now, obviously, you can understand the lead character here is Mahatma Gandhi. It is Mahatma Gandhi. Now, Mahatma Gandhi is a very interesting figure of history. Do you know why? You see, prior to Mahatma Gandhi, if we had any demands, suppose there is no electricity in your area or there is no water supply in your area, how did we demand things? The way we demanded things was, you go, you ask the man there, I have no current in my area, give me current. If he gives, it's fine. If it doesn't give, what do you do next? You go and hit him. Alright, you go and hit him, you beat him up. That was our, not only for India, it was true for the entire world. Now that you see today, whenever we need something, from whether it is in India or it is in America or in UK, when people need something, they go out with posters and placards and demand, is it not? Or they block the road and sit down there and say, no, we will not get up from the road until you adhere to our demands. This concept of exacting your demand, this concept of getting your demand fulfilled by non-violent and peaceful method was taught to the world by Mahatma Gandhi. So, we often do not realize when we say Mahatma Gandhi won India's freedom and Mahatma Gandhi won freedom through non-violent means, we take it for granted, we take it very easily. Acha, he did it, okay, fine. But it is a great lesson. Imagine many of our fathers are working in various government departments, is it not? Or are working anywhere. So, people have demands. If Mahatma Gandhi did not give us this lesson of non-violence, before Mahatma Gandhi, nobody knew all these things. So, if Mahatma Gandhi would not have given us this lesson of non-violence, then even today, to get our demands, we would go and kill people, or we would go and hit people, injure people, right? So, the beauty of Mahatma Gandhi and the beauty of Mahatma Gandhi's life lies in this fact that he gave us this beautiful lesson of what? He called it Satyagraha. Satyagraha. Now, I will tell you what is Satyagraha. This is a very important question in your chapter also. What is Satyagraha? Many of you say Satyagraha, Mahatma Gandhi taught us to fight peacefully and in a non-violent manner. That non-violent movement is called Satyagraha. Wrong. Mahatma Gandhi was a very interesting character, and all his movements have a philosophy. Satyagraha does not automatically mean non-violence. Please take care. And it is a very important question of this chapter. And we shall see when we read this chapter in detail, we shall see all these things. Right? For now, let us try and understand, or rather, you may have heard many things about Mahatma Gandhi. What have you heard? Like Mahatma Gandhi went to Africa, you may have heard this story. I will tell you a little bit about Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was sent to England to study. He was sent to England to study law. Actually there Mahatma Gandhi led a very Western kind of a life. Alright, he led a very Western kind of a life. He used to dress, if you look at Mahatma Gandhi now, Mahatma Gandhi is just dressed in one piece of white cloth, is it not? I mean, whenever you see his pictures. But that's not how Mahatma Gandhi was during his student days in England. Mahatma Gandhi was a very fashionable person. Can you believe it? He was a very fashionable person. He even started taking dancing lessons. You must have seen, no, in movies, you catch the heroine like this and dance this ball dance. Mahatma Gandhi learned ball dance. Mahatma Gandhi learned how to play the violin. Yes, Mahatma Gandhi, this simple looking man, he learned all these things. Then how did Mahatma Gandhi change himself from this fashionable person to this simple person, to this very sage-like, sannyasi-like person? How did this transformation come? So, one big thing that happened was that after he became a lawyer, he went to South Africa. And in South Africa, for the first time, Mahatma Gandhi came face to face with apartheid. What is apartheid? Apartheid means, you know, in countries other than in India, especially in countries like South Africa, in America, in England, in Australia, there is something called racism, all right. So the whites hate the blacks, the white people hate the black people, they believe that the black people are inferior. This hatred between the whites, this hatred that the whites practice against the blacks is known as apartheid. And Gandhi, remember, was an Indian. When Gandhi went to Africa, he was kicked out of a moving train near Johannesburg. Gandhi was kicked out of a moving train in Johannesburg just because of the color of his skin. This thing shook Gandhi completely. He said, although I may have received a lot of English education, I may have become an Englishman in my dress, but I am not an Englishman. These Englishmen still have a prejudice against me. And he started this fight in South Africa, which was very successful. And then he came to India. Now, this is not what is there in our chapter. I am just giving you a background for you to understand Mahatma Gandhi. Now, Mahatma Gandhi is called the father of the nation, India's father of the nation. Why? Because Mahatma Gandhi is credited with winning freedom for us. Now, how did he start all these things? Did you ever wonder about it? How did Mahatma Gandhi start this thing? Actually, how did it all begin? This chapter will tell us about Mahatma Gandhi's initial startings, the first fight against the British rule. So, this is the background of the story. I hope you have understood. Now, let us go to the story itself. Now, the year is 1916. Which year? 1916. The month is December. Okay, it is December 1916, and Mahatma Gandhi has gone to the annual Indian National Conference in Lucknow. Every year, the Indian National Congress would hold a session, a big session, and that year in 1916, this session was held in Lucknow. All right, it was held in Lucknow, and there a man came to Gandhi. His name is Rajkumar Shukla. What is his name? Who came to meet Gandhi at Lucknow? Rajkumar Shukla. This man has come to meet Gandhi at the All India the Indian National Congress session that was held in Lucknow. A man called Rajkumar Shukla has come to visit Gandhi. Who is this Rajkumar Shukla, and why has he come to visit Mahatma Gandhi? Rajkumar Shukla is basically a peasant. He is a farmer. He is a peasant from Champaran in Bihar. Okay, he is from Champaran in Bihar. So, he has come to meet Gandhi. More than a peasant, he is something else. Peasant means a farmer. What kind of a farmer is he? He is a sharecropper. Okay, so who is Rajkumar Shukla? Rajkumar Shukla is a sharecropper from Champaran district of Bihar. He has come to meet Gandhi. Now, why has Rajkumar Shukla come to meet Gandhi? Rajkumar Shukla has come to meet Gandhi because he wants Gandhi to go with him. What does Rajkumar Shukla want? Rajkumar Shukla wants that Gandhi should go with Rajkumar Shukla. Where? To his native place in Champaran. Why? To fight for the cause of the indigo farmers. Fight for the cause of indigo farmers. Now, what is this indigo? Do you know what is indigo? You know it. What is indigo? I'll tell you what. Those of you who were in the schools nowadays, we don't see much white shirt. But if you are one of those students who had white shirt as your uniform in the school, you will know you will know that there was something that you called Neel in Bengali that was dropped into the water to what make your white clothes look more bright. You now have something called Ujala. Do you know that? That is indigo. Now, Rajkumar Shukla, remember, wants Gandhi to go to Champaran to fight for the indigo farmers. Indigo farmer? What is indigo farmer? In the past, today you get Ujala, in the bottles you get Ujala, but actually indigo is a crop. It is a crop just like rice, which grows on trees, or just like what shall I say, fruits, all the fruits that grow on the trees. Indigo is just like that. It is a crop that you have to grow. Nowadays we don't grow it. You will see in this chapter only, you will see why we don't grow it. But this indigo played a very important role in India's history. So Rajkumar Shukla, who is Rajkumar Shukla? Rajkumar Shukla is a, please write this question down. I want to see you write. Okay, please write this question down. If you don't write these questions when or if you don't note it when I'm explaining these videos, these video lectures will become like a cinema watching session for you. Alright, so we are not even actors. You can see any movie instead. So why are you watching us? You are watching us to learn something. Remember, you are not coming to the class. We can't get you in the class because of this COVID situation. So please treat these sessions as a classroom session. Please take your copy out, have your pen in your hand. Please write this question down. Who is Rajkumar Shukla? Who is Rajkumar Shukla? Rajkumar Shukla is a sharecropper from Champaran. What does he want? He wants Gandhi to go with him and fight for the cause of the indigo farmers. Rajkumar Shukla wants Gandhi to go with him and fight for the cause of the indigo farmers. Now, what cause is he speaking of? Why should Gandhi fight about it? Now, I'll explain you a little bit of another background. What is this indigo? As I told you, indigo is a crop that you grow. There are two kinds of crops. Crops, you know, anything that you grow. There are two kinds. One is food crop. One is what? Food crop. And one is cash crop. Alright? One is food crop and one is cash crop. Food crop is anything which you grow, and when the tree grows and the tree bears fruit, you can directly pluck it and eat it. That's called food crop. Alright? Cash crop, on the other hand, is something, it is a plant where the fruits you cannot consume them directly or immediately, you cannot consume them. It has to be processed, or you cannot eat them at all. It is used for other purposes. Alright? For example, when the British came to India, they found out many cash crops in India, like for example tea or coffee. If you have gone to a tea garden, you know you cannot pluck the tea leaves and just eat it, or you cannot pluck the tea leaves and just use it just the way we use it at home. And have you seen tea leaves? Tea leaves look like any other leaves. And at home when you make tea, have you seen it? They are black grains. This tea leaf has to be processed before you can eat them. So cash crops are any crop that you grow which you cannot directly consume. You have to process it, and then you can eat it. So tea is a cash crop. Jute, with which we make bags and sacks, you cannot eat jute. Can you eat jute? You cannot eat jute. Or cotton. Can you eat cotton? Can you eat cotton? You can't eat cotton. Alright. So, and indigo. Alright. These are cash crops. Why are they called cash crops? Because you can sell them and get money, but you can't eat them. You can eat them, some of them you can eat like tea or coffee, but that also you cannot eat them directly. You cannot go and pluck and eat. Alright, you have to process them. Alright, you have to process them and then it is converted into consumable form. Jute, cotton, indigo, as you can see, you cannot eat them. So, indigo was one of the cash crops in India, and this indigo was a very dangerous thing. Why dangerous thing? It was dangerous because if there is this very famous Bengali drama called Neel Darpan by Dinabandhu Mitra, if I am not wrong, which will tell you, Bankim Chandra also I think wrote about the problems faced by the indigo farmers. Actually, planting indigo and growing indigo is a very tough thing, alright. It's a very tough thing because those who work in this indigo plantations have to, these indigo plants are like rice plants, okay, thin and like that, okay. So, what you have to do, you have to cut them, bundle them and beat them so that the seed, indigo seed falls down. Then you have to crush them, grind them and make them ready. In doing that, this dust enters the system of the farmers and it is very caustic. Indigo is very caustic, that is very corrosive. Okay, long exposure to indigo destroys their skin. Plus the farmers, you will see in this chapter, were also exploited by the British zamindars. So all this made indigo farming a very, what shall I say, a very troublesome thing, alright. So indigo farming was a very exploitative industry of India, very exploitative. So, oh by the way, the second question, what is indigo? Indigo is a natural, it is a natural dye, D-Y-E dye, remember not D-I-E dye. D-I-E dye mane mrityu boron kora, to dye. D-Y-E dye mane color, pigment or color, clear? So, now you know what is indigo. Indigo is a natural dye. Please refer to the notes, you must have got the notes. Please refer to the notes that I have given you, that I have provided you. Please refer to those notes. So, indigo is a natural dye. Now, what is the problem there? So, Rajkumar Shukla wants Mahatma Gandhi to go with him to Champaran and to fight for the indigo farmers. Remember, Mahatma Gandhi has never, till that point in time, Mahatma Gandhi has never ever organized any hartal or anything in India. This is his first time. This is his case number 1. From here Mahatma Gandhi, and this story is so important because this is where for the first time Mahatma Gandhi got a chance to test his principles of satyagraha. Alright. So anyway, so Mahatma Gandhi, when Rajkumar Shukla said, "Ke, come," Mahatma Gandhi, when he went to Gandhi and said, "Mr. Gandhi, you have to come to me to Champaran." Gandhi said, "No, I can't go to Champaran because I have got other appointments in different parts of India. Okay, I have to go to Kanpur and all these things. I've got appointments elsewhere in India. I cannot go with you." Do you know what Rajkumar Shukla did? Rajkumar Shukla followed Mahatma Gandhi all over India. Wherever Gandhi went, Rajkumar Shukla followed him. Wherever Gandhi went, Rajkumar Shukla followed him. So, you will find in your book, Gandhi was impressed with his tenacity. He was impressed, Gandhi was impressed with his tenacity. What is tenacity? Determination. Alright, that spirit to continue being in this thing, won't leave this until my work is done, tenacity. So, Gandhi was very impressed by Rajkumar Shukla's tenacity. So, finally he told him that on such and such date, I am supposed to be in, I am going to Calcutta on such and such date, come meet me there. So Mahatma Gandhi finally agreed to go over to his place. Now, when the train arrived in Muzaffarpur of Bihar, so what happened? Gandhi thought that, okay, before going to Champaran, let me go to Muzaffarpur, which is the district headquarters of this district, and obtain more complete information. Abhi theek hai, he has said, okay, I will go with you. But Rajkumar Shukla could not provide him with much details. So Gandhi decided to go and halt at Muzaffarpur and obtain more complete information about this whole thing, this whole issue. So accordingly, he went to Muzaffarpur, and there he stayed in the house of Professor Malkani. There he stayed at the house of whom? Professor Malkani. Who is Professor Malkani? Professor Malkani was a teacher in a government school. And Gandhi says that it was very unusual, it was very extraordinary on the part of Professor Malkani to allow me to stay in his house. So exact words that he uses in this book, in page number 48, you will see it was an extraordinary thing in those days. Gandhi says, so in Muzaffarpur, why did he stop at Muzaffarpur? He stopped at Muzaffarpur because Muzaffarpur is the district headquarters of Champaran. Alright, it is the headquarters. Just like Badarpur, Karimganj district, our district headquarters is in Karimganj. So Gandhi decided that Muzaffarpur falls en route Champaran. En route mane raste mein padta hai. So he decided it is en route Champaran. Let me stop here and find more information about this incident. What is this? What is the issue of the sharecroppers? Let me find out. So to find out, where did he stay? Did he stay in any hotel? No. He stayed in the house of Professor Malkani, a government school teacher. And Mahatma Gandhi says that it was an extraordinary thing in those days. What? Staying in the house of Professor Malkani was an extraordinary thing in those days. Why? Because by the time 1916 arrived, the British government had become very suspicious of those people who are advocating home rule. Remember, you have to connect it with history. Congress is moving towards declaring Swaraj as their aim. All these years Congress has been just, it has been following a policy of prayer and petition towards the British government. You must have studied in class 9 and 10, especially in class 10. You must have studied all these things. So all these things, all these years, the Congress had been following a policy of prayer and petition. Now the Congress is doing what? Now the Congress is trying to demand Swaraj, self-rule. And Mahatma Gandhi was one of those people who were with the Congress. So the British government at that time was very suspicious of government servants harboring people who were champions of home rule, that is Swaraj, in their home. So it was a very extraordinary thing to do. Let me just look at once again what we have studied till now. We have seen that the year is 1916. So in which year did Rajkumar Shukla meet Gandhi, and where? Rajkumar Shukla met Gandhi in the month of December 1916 at Lucknow. What was Gandhi doing at Lucknow? Gandhi was attending the Indian National Congress session at Lucknow. Who is Rajkumar Shukla? Rajkumar Shukla was a peasant from Champaran district in Bihar, right? So at Muzaffarpur, where did Gandhi stay? At Muzaffarpur, Gandhi stayed at the house of Professor Malkani, a government school teacher. Why was it extraordinary for Gandhi why was it extraordinary for Professor Malkani to allow Gandhi to stay at his house? It was extraordinary for Professor Malkani to allow Gandhi to stay in his house because in those days it was the British government were very suspicious about government employees harboring people of advocates or champions of Home Rule League in their house. Also, what aspect of Rajkumar Shukla's character impressed Gandhi, or why was Gandhi impressed by Rajkumar Shukla? Gandhi was impressed by Rajkumar Shukla because of his tenacity. When Gandhi said that Gandhi would not attend would not go with him, because would not go with Rajkumar Shukla because he had other engagements. Rajkumar Shukla did not just return. Instead, what he did was he followed Gandhi wherever Gandhi went. If you have understood this much of this chapter today, properly, thoroughly, if you have understood this much of this chapter today, you have done some work. Please note these things down. Understand this chapter very well. If you have got any doubt, you may WhatsApp your doubts to me on 9401534659. Alternately, if you have got any doubts, you can also contact the college official number or the WhatsApp group in which you are given your questions. If you have got any doubts, you can raise it there. You can also email me your doubts on zahir.ecn@gmail.com. So please use these links. You can, if you need to call me, if it is that urgent and you want to call me, you can call me on 6005777031. So use any of these whichever suits you, and use any of these ways. And remember, this is HS second year. Don't leave your doubts uncleared. If you have any doubt and you want me to help you in these doubts, please, you can WhatsApp me, you can email me, or you can call me. Thank you very much.